It really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
I started doing it once in a while, just for fun in the car with my friends. And yeah, I knew it was deadly, even illegal, but I didn't care. I remember looking down, and she was crossing the street, and I saw her just before I killed her.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
Roger Goodell met the media for his annual State of the League press conference and addressed a number of topics that have been in the news of late, including the NFL's hiring practices relative to minority coaching hires. How does he feel?
I think we made a tremendous amount, a lot of progress in a lot of areas, but not at the head coach. And that is something that is something we really have focused on to try to get the kind of results that we would expect. And we fell short of that by a long shot for us.
Goodell also announced that the NFL will play in Munich and Mexico City this fall, kicking off 4 straight seasons that there will be an NFL game in Germany. Las Vegas police did contact the NFL in advance of Alvin Kamara's eventual arrest before playing in the Pro Bowl. And Joe Burrow tells the media that it's been hard to block out distractions since arriving in L.A. I'm Ralph Irvin.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host.
Well, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Okay? I hope so. A little wet out there, some snow showers, some rain showers. The Nate Brown Show is back, and it's always a great day in the Black Hills. Remember that. We're live on Fox Sports Rapid City. 2 hours, thought-provoking sports talk, and some great guests for you as we continue our countdown to the Super Bowl. We got you covered. We'll go out to L.A. today and talk some Rams. We'll also stay out there in L.A. and talk some Bengals. So we got both sides covered today as we get closer to Super Bowl Sunday. I got former NFL player on today, and then tomorrow I got a treat as well. One of the all-time great players for the Packers. Really, his career was great. Ahman Green, former Husker, great player for the Packers. And we've got Ahman Green live tomorrow, his thoughts on the big game as well. So a busy week this week. We'll make it count on a Wednesday. The Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, the orthopedic experts. When it comes to the real care you need, when it comes to orthopedic care, better access, more options at Black Hills Ortho. Now with urgent care, if you suffer an injury, Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center has urgent care. Learn more at bhosc.com. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Let's look at it. Wednesday's show is lined up and ready. We've got some interesting news on the high school basketball front. I told you yesterday about some of the discussions they were going to have this morning when it comes to high school basketball and some potential big changes. Did any go through? Where are things at? I've got an update. We'll talk to Jamie Parrish tonight. He's the Sioux Falls, Washington girls basketball coach. He was one of the guys that's had a proposal out there. One of the big ones, maybe putting all the state tournaments, AA, A, and B in the same city, same weekend. Where's that going? We'll get into that and a general discussion about the meeting today. Jamie Parrish, again, Sioux Falls, Washington girls basketball coach and a member of the basketball advisory committee here in South Dakota. He's on the way. We'll get some thoughts from Craig Maddox, South Dakota Public Broadcasting, live from Sioux Falls, on tap. Green Bay Packer offensive lineman, former Packer with Brett Favre and the crew, and Ahman Green. We got back-to-back days with the Packers. What's going on here? People are going to say, Nate, is this a Viking station? Is it a Bronco station? We got Packers today. Mike Wall, former offensive lineman, his thoughts on Sunday. Mike Wall straight ahead. And Matt Minich, Bengals writer, SB Nation, Cincy Jungle. We'll talk to Matt Minich on tap, and Kevin Figures live from L.A. They cover the Rams on AM 570. Los Angeles, Kevin Figures talking Super Bowl on the Rams side. A lot to get to on the Nate Brown Show. 720-1067 is our number. Be a part of the program. Invite you in on this Wednesday. 720-1067. That's your number there. And the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Direct text the show. It comes in here. We'll get that on the air as well. We'll catch up on those. 720-1067. The Barron's Wilson listener text line. So, a lot of great guests. We'll talk some Super Bowl. Lot to get to there. But first, I'm going to go to a high school story that should resonate here. We cover some high school sports. Many of us have played high school sports. We have kids that have played high school sports. The whole thing. And this is in our neck of the woods. Okay, this high school basketball story really surprises me today. It really surprises me. I don't know if I've heard something this specific. Okay, I've heard of players that sit out the rest of the season and have conflicts with the coach. There could be some verbal abuse. There sometimes, unfortunately, is physical abuse. There's some bad stories with coaches in the past, and then teams having to fire those coaches or players boycotting the rest of the season, that whole thing. This story today is really not that. It's something that I've never really seen. As far as I know, I've never really seen it. So I want to start with it and get your thoughts on it and make it our question of the day as we get fired up and rolling on this Wednesday. So let's lay it out here for you. You should be able to have some thoughts on this, and maybe you can come up with a solution for me, because I think I have the solution, but I don't know if it's a great answer. Okay, I'm going to go to Pocatello, Idaho. Pocatello, Idaho. Okay, that's where the story's out of. Highland High School. Highland High School. It's in Pocatello, Idaho. Their varsity boys basketball team is supposed to have a game here in a couple hours. Tonight. They're supposed to be playing a varsity basketball game tonight. Their players are not playing in the game. The game just got canceled because 2 days ago on Monday, the high school varsity basketball team says they're going to sit out the rest of the season unless their head coach resigns. So many people say, hey, we need some backstory here. We need some backstory. This is being covered in the Idaho State Journal, okay? So I looked at this story. It was just updated this afternoon with some more information. And there's not terrible things coming out about what's going on with this team and this coach, and why would a high school basketball team, 2 games left? There's 2 games left before the tournament starts up there in Idaho, postseason play. We have a few more games left here in South Dakota, but they've only got 2 before their district play starts. And the varsity basketball team took a vote, and they said, we're going to sit out the last 2 games and I guess the rest of the season unless the head coach is done. The head coach's name is Ty Pearson, and the story says this. Why are these players upset? Their record is 7-12. Okay, so they're not having a great season. Their record's 7-12, and a few players are quoted in the Idaho State Journal story from this sports writer, Greg Woods, who wrote the story today. A few players are on record saying, mainly, and I'm not going to read through all of the quotes. You can find it, Idaho State Journal, and read through the whole thing, but I'll give you the breakdown today. They're mainly upset about the strategy in games, play calling in game situations, practice plans, like not following a practice plan, having it organized, and then being disorganized when practice happens. So this is why I say this today. This isn't we don't like Ty Pearson, the head coach of this Pocatello, Idaho basketball team. We don't like him as a person. He's a bad person. He's done this and that and this and that. The players actually say they do like him, Ty Pearson, the head coach. They do like him. Some of the players have him as a teacher, and they'd say, no, he's fine. We just think we should be better than this, and we question some of the practice plans. We question some of the game calls, the in-game calls. Here's a quote. Sometimes when our plays will be working and we'll be scoring off of them, then sometimes Ty will go away from that and call a different play and try and switch it up. We just want consistency, calling plays in in-game situations. We need a coach that's good in that type of situation. That's really what we're discussing now? We're discussing that now? And then we can sit out the rest of the season? We can sit out the rest of the season if we... Now, what's the record of the coach? What's the record? This coach isn't brand new this year. He got there in 2016, okay? He got there in Highland High School, Pocatello, Idaho, 2016. His overall record, 48-47. Now, what would that say? Not great, not like the worst ever. 48-47, kind of like the Vikings. I'm sorry, I'm kidding, okay? I'm kidding. Easy. Okay, so 48-47. And the players say we just want to change the direction. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. Can we have players sit out because now they don't think the coach is doing a good enough job? Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Well, that just adds a couple sophomores and maybe a couple freshmen and the rest of the JV, and you got your varsity team.
I think you're right on that. I think you're right.
Here's my deal, and I'm going to kick off some of your listeners that have the almighty all-star greatest ever in the world traveling teams.
Okay.
But, they get that crap. They get that behavior. Well, we went to these tournaments. Really? How many tournaments did you go down into Omaha? How many tournaments did you really go in Denver? In what division did you play in? But then when they get to high school, these kids are like, well, my dad, well, your dad never played.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're saying, we win early, we won this, we won that, we should be good. That's what you're saying. That's what they think.
Let me show. Yeah. It's funny, and Bob can tell you, tennis, my kid never played a U12. She did one year, but that was to get even. And then she played some U16 doubles. My kid from 12 on would play in Women's Open. You know why? The points didn't matter because she played in college. But they didn't cheat her. Girls at her age cheat, so do boys on line calls. If they can't reach it, out.
I got you. What's the solution to this? I've never seen it.
What's the solution?
I've never seen it. You say pull up the JV.
Pull up the JV, take their uniforms, send them home.
All right.
You know what? That coach is 47 and 48.
Yeah, 48 and 47.
Really want to go through records? Let's go to the Central boys basketball coach. What's his career record? That boy's been coaching. You know why he coaches? Because he knows these kids. He works with these kids. He does things with these kids. These kids trust him. See, in high school, your biggest problem is winning and losing. Everybody thinks that's it. It's not.
I got you on that, Steve. I appreciate this. By the way, I would pull up the JV too. I would. I really would. Thanks for getting in.
I would even let them in the locker room, dude.
All right.
And then I pray to God one of them idiot dads actually wanted to talk to me privately.
All right, buddy.
I
got you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. This is my question of the day. I think this is something that you've got to be really careful with. I don't know if this Pocatello, Idaho coach can coach or not, when it comes to, oh, is he a great X's and O's basketball coach? I don't know. We're not following Pocatello, Idaho basketball. There's a lot of reaction about this nationally today. At least up there, I'm seeing reaction like, hey, coach is good. You know, he's a good person. He works hard. You know, there's some people coming to support, and then obviously there's people, you know, the team should just move forward. The players want a different coach, so you should just figure out things to do. Well, here's what the Pocatello, Idaho Highland High School has done. The athletic director has said, we're going to stick with the coach. The athletic director had a meeting with the team, and he said, we're going to stick with the coach. The parents then also had a meeting with the superintendent. They went, to that level. The superintendent said, well, we'll look into this and get back to you. The administration says we're supporting the coach. There's 2 games left. And the reason I say, think about this high school sports story. You got to be careful with this. When we start saying, now we can determine, the players just don't quite think you're with it. They don't quite think you're good enough as a coach. This isn't about you stepped over the line here, you did something terrible there. That whole story when we've heard bad stories, okay? This story's out in the open, and the players have said, we just think we need a better coach. They're 7-12. I don't know if the late game coaching decisions are going to get you to 7-12. Maybe they could get you to, I don't know, 9-10. It'd be close. You might have won a couple more games. It feels like we start going down this road of, we have this boycott culture of, let's, if we don't get our way, then we're going to sit out. We're not going to. I want the players, think this through. If you're a senior in high school, if you're a senior on this team, are you going to bag it? That's the way your high school year is going to close out? Because maybe you aren't happy with how things go in the games. Maybe you aren't happy with how things go in practice. I wouldn't bag it. I mean, my message to them, if they ever hear this, don't regret making mistakes when it comes to your high school career. It's gone before you even realize it. A lot of high school kids don't realize it. They're just playing. They're just going through the grind. And then you have something like this pop up. And I believe these kids will regret it if they don't play the rest of the season. They were supposed to play tonight. The game just got canceled. And as I would say, well, they do have a JV and C team. I would just bring up the JV and roll. Yeah, you're going to get beat. I'd bring up the JV, the team, the players that want to be there, and I'd just roll with it. There's 2 games left. After the season, can the administration sit down with the coach and maybe discuss, maybe we should change up? I don't know. But you finish this out. We don't make decisions as high school teams and regret, man, I didn't finish out my senior year. Those guys at 35 years old are going to look back on that and go, whoops. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Regret. What is that? Is that even a thing anymore? I don't even know if people regret anything.
Is that right?
Well, it's just, I missed the first part. Was this just seniors, or was it the whole varsity basketball team?
No, so Pocatello, Idaho varsity basketball team doesn't like the way their coach is coaching, and they're gonna sit out the rest of the season unless there's a change.
So if there's any juniors on the team, you might as well bag your next season. And if you're a coach, are you going to want to coach those juniors, or if they're even sophomores? I mean,
you wouldn't think so.
No way. I mean, I'm thrilled that the athletic director stood up and said, no, we're sticking with the coach till the end of the year. And
I am too. And as I said, I don't know if the guy's a good coach. It's not about that to me.
It's not. The guy, how much time do these coaches put in? I mean, you can make a decision at the end of the year, and and the sad part is, as a coach anymore, you can't even call out a player anymore. I mean, so maybe the coach would like to do a little bit different coaching, but he can't, because then he's crossing another line. So, and on Steve's thing with traveling basketball, a lot of these traveling basketball teams, they're teams from all over the city.
Yeah,
like
sure,
they're grouped
sure.
together.
Yep,
West
yep.
side, east side. So by the time they get to high school, and all of a sudden they're on different teams, and they're used to winning all the time, but they're not used to playing with each other, so they start losing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true too. That is true.
And they have that win now mentality, but regret. I like that. So
All
let me know how
man.
that goes.
I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. I'm just trying to make a little bit of sense of it. When I was in high school, I played at a state championship. We lost, and then we lost in the semis the next year. So I had some good success and got had a lot of fun. It was great, but I didn't realize it then. Okay, I wasn't going to be a college basketball player. And then when that competitiveness, that team camaraderie, and that whole experience was over, I missed that for a long time. And these guys are going to bag it right now because they can't quite work through late game coaching decisions. Come on. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Well, I got two for you here. One, I do agree you can't have the kids doing that part of what they're learning in their sport is to submit to the authority at the top, and that in this case is your coach.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I do wonder, there's not a lot of detail in there. I do wonder, at 7-12, if they started out 7-2, and they've lost 10 in a row, that type of thing, and they've changed because, the first 9 they played man-to-man, and now they're playing all zone, and it just doesn't seem to work. Okay, maybe, did they say, hey, Coach, let's have a team meeting here, and we want some input here. We want to talk to you about we think this doesn't work.
I'm thinking they should have had a team meeting quite a while ago. He's been there since 2016,
The other one I got for you is I've seen this in reverse. I worked with a guy one time who, when he was in high school, and he ended up, when I knew him, he was like 30, 35 years old, and he was a high school teacher. And when he was in high school, he wanted to start a golf team for his high school in West Texas. And there was no coach, there was no money for it, and he drove himself over to the town that was having the West Texas Invitational for all the high schools. It was a high school association thing, and said, I'm from school X, and I'm the golf team, and I'm here to play.
Oh.
And he played.
Is that right? Wow.
And later on shortly thereafter, he got himself a short suspension from school for having done that. And that's part of the whole learning system is you don't get to just decide. And these guys here, like say, if they want to bag it, I agree with the people that say, yeah, I'd yank up the junior varsity, and those guys. I'd sit them down and say, hey, all you juniors and sophomores, you really want to do this because you're not going to be playing for me next year. I'm not gonna. If I'm the coach next year, we're not going to have this. And if they hire me as the new coach coming in, I'm going to say the same thing. You guys pulled this crap?
Yeah, I have a feeling this coach may not be too long for the job there. Just my thought.
I also wonder, though, what do you do if you're, you really think you're a good team and you're getting wasted? Because, if it's absolutely true that what they're saying.
Well, but you got to take some responsibility.
When we're doing well, when we're leading 30-20, the coach changes our offense or our defense, and a quarter and a half later, we're trailing 40-32.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
If that keeps happening.
No, I'm not buying it. I'm taking responsibility as a player. Be a player and be a competitor.
And also, you've got to part of being on any team is you got to know who's in charge at the top.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Good to hear from you. Thanks for getting in. I throw it out there as a question of the day. Pocatello, Idaho. It's a wild story to me when it comes to high school sports. It's a wild one to me. We're going to sit out the rest of the season unless we have a coaching change, and I think we're trying to play a power broker there, trying to make a big power play boycott there. Everybody likes boycotting this and protesting that and all of that stuff going on. I think that factors in. I really do. You wouldn't have dreamed to hear this story 10 years ago. You wouldn't have dreamed of it. And now we're going to sit out unless we get a change. Well, what's wrong? Well, coach didn't foul when we were up 3 points at the end of a game. We were up 3 and we didn't foul. So then they made a 3 and they tied it and we lost. No, that's actually what they're complaining about. Well, guard somebody. It's like, oh, he should have made us foul. And then they hit a 3. I mean, it's absurd. You wouldn't have dreamed it. Now we're going to sit out the rest of the season. Coach just doesn't make the right calls. What is at fault here? That's my question of the day as we get started on the Nate Brown Show. High school basketball team in Idaho sitting out the rest of the season because of complaints about their head coach and in-game coaching decisions and practice plans. Who is at fault in this situation? My options are the players, the parents, or our boycott culture that's rolling. If we don't get our way, we can boycott this and protest that, and some of that's okay. Some of it's, gets a little over the top. Who is at fault here? Our boycott culture, the parents, or the players? Let's look at the vote total. Wow, it's tight. 45% of voters today say the parents. 45% of voters say the parents. 43% say our boycott culture in general that leads to this. 12% say the players. One more quick one. Thanks for getting in. You're live and you go ahead.
I'm going to give the blame about 60-40, parents, kids.
Okay.
Like, it's like the
I think that's fair. I do.
Sit them down and be like, yo, listen, you need to either play or you decide you're not going to play, then you're not going to play. Like, you can't just demand whatever you want. Like, that's part of
right.
That's part of the problem with our society is everybody just has a hissy fit when they don't get their way, and it's like, that's not the way the world works. I'm sorry.
That is right. That's what sports are supposed to teach you, by the way, so we don't throw hissy fits.
Yeah, like, I want a raise. Like, what are you doing? I'm sitting on my butt. Well,
right.
You don't deserve a raise. So
I'm kind of with you,
maybe
60-40 on the parents. Why? The parents, I have a feeling they weren't saying, oh, yeah, no, you should work harder and you should do this. What are they saying at the dinner table potentially? Oh, yeah, that was a bad call there. What was he doing there? That's what goes on, I believe.
Yeah. So
all right, buddy.
Kids do have some responsibility, but parents need to step up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
The McJudgerson in on a Wednesday, getting started. It's interesting, isn't it? Really interesting. I've never thought I'd see something like that. But we got it in Pocatello, Idaho here this week. A game tonight for the Highland Rams. The Rams are ready to roll tonight. They could even host a district game, even at 7-12. They could host a district game. They canceled it tonight. Is that a loss for the Highland Rams from Pocatello? Is that a loss? If I'm the other team, I'm saying that's a loss. I don't know. They didn't say if it was a forfeit tonight or not. It said it got canceled. Yeah, I'd take the JVers. The JVers. Let's ball. Coming back with Craig Maddox, South Dakota Public Broadcasting in Sioux Falls. Speaking of a protest, there was a report out from KELOLAND News that there might be a parent protest dealing with youth hockey in Sioux Falls. What's going on? Craig Maddox next.
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Renewal by Andersen. Our customers say it best. At Renewal by Andersen, our customers always tell us, I can't believe how comfortable and quiet these new windows have made our home. The difference is huge. Renewal by Andersen windows are the best you can get by any measure. We're a local and family-owned company. Our full-time installers are great people. We don't use subcontractors, and we stand behind our windows like no other. Contact us now and ask about our great financing options with approved credit. Renewal by Andersen. Our customers say it best.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy skies expected tonight with a chance for scattered snow showers. Lows around 30. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered showers. Tomorrow, highs level off around 62. A mix of clouds and sun. Chance for mixed precipitation. Tomorrow night, 33. Overcast. A dusting of snow tonight with another dusting Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 32.
It's tax time, and the time to buy is now at Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet. We have local used vehicles from every major manufacturer, cars and trucks to fit all your 2022 travel needs. Many priced below NADA book value. Choose from the largest selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Black Hills. Over 400 to shop from, all credit applications accepted. The right cars, the right prices, the right experience. At Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Rush Hockey is back February 11th and 12th. On Friday, February 11th, the Rush take on Wichita. Join the Rush on Saturday, February 12th for Rush Fights Cancer, presented by Vitalant. The Rush will wear specialty jerseys that will be auctioned off post-game with a portion of the proceeds benefiting Monument Health Foundation. Help us honor loved ones who have fought or are currently fighting all forms of cancer by painting their name on the ice on Thursday, February 10th from 5 to 7, sponsored by D&D Painting. Rapid City Rush, next chapter, same goal. Tickets at rapidcityrush.com.
Hi, this is Dave Sharp, Director of Coaching with the Black Hills Rapid Soccer Club. Registration is underway, and our club is a great fit for everyone, from the beginner to the more experienced player. If you want your child to have some fun and get some great exercise learning the game of soccer, now is the time to register at blackhillsrapids.com. With great coaches and a premier 12-field soccer complex, the experience with the Black Hills Rapids is second to none. Register your player now at blackhillsrapids.com.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates, at your service, at your side. With offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Well, we're off and running on Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live, The Nate Brown Show. We are on 106.7 FM. I know we've gotten some messages here. 11:50 a.m., a little sketchy right now. You know, that's what happens in radio. Some of those signals and towers, yeah, we have some issues sometimes. That's why we have an engineer. Our engineer's at it, okay? He's working at it. 11:50 a.m., we're trying to get it back up to full power, so thanks for joining us on 106.7 FM, and also on digital side, Twitter, at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. You can watch the show from anywhere right there on your phone on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show, and YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Craig Maddox on, South Dakota Public Broadcasting, state championship announcer, Sioux Falls. Craig Maddox on Twitter, at Craig Maddox. He's in on a Wednesday. Craig, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Doing great.
Okay, I've got a interesting question of the day. We love high school sports in South Dakota, and I love high school sports stories. I don't like ones like this, and I've dug into this. I've looked at it a lot this afternoon. Reporting from the Idaho State Journal, Pocatello, Idaho, high school boys basketball team says we're going to sit out the rest of the season unless we get our head coach to resign. We just don't want to play for our coach anymore. We want a different coach, like one of the assistants. They say that the coaching decisions are not good in games. The practice plans are not good. And they say we need a different coach, otherwise we're just going to sit out the rest of the way. What say you?
Well, I say, well, hey, thanks for playing. It was nice having you while you were here.
Would you go JV?
Totally,
JV? Bring him up?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have players on your team that don't want to play, well, then, you know what? You know, the library is open every day. Go ahead and try that out. I don't like that one bit. I mean, go ahead. You can blame parents if you want. You can blame the kids if you want. But here's the deal. You can't have the kids rule who's going to be the coach. If there are problems on the team, that is something that you got to work out. If they're threatening to sit out because of the coach, well, yeah, I'm saying, okay, thanks for playing. We'll see you later.
Okay, that's what the athletic director somewhat said. He's supporting the coach today. He has said, we're going to let him finish it out. There's only 2 games left. There's only 2 games left. And he said, we're going to finish it out.
Sorry, you can't have the kids rule on that one.
Okay, here's one. I made it my question of the day. More people are blaming the parents right now than the players. One person said, Nate, why didn't you put the coach in your option? You're the leader of the program and the team doesn't want to play for you? This is the coach's fault. That's what they told me today.
Well, it might be the coach's fault, but you get through the season and then your athletic director, your superintendent, your principal, whatever, they sit down and decide the future of that program. But unless something malicious is done, this one here, the kids just don't like his end-of-game strategy, apparently. It's like, what, really?
No, I've never heard of anything like that.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And so, if I'm a parent and I had a child who wasn't getting enough playing time in a certain sport, and I told him, well, you have to improve and practice, prove in practice that you're worthy, and that's how you do it. You don't go behind the coach and say, hey, I need more playing time.
I got you on that. So they were supposed to play tonight, Pocatello, Idaho, tonight, and their game got canceled. So I don't know if we've heard
they're probably out having some ice cream somewhere instead.
Fluffy pancakes for everybody. Fluffy pancakes for everybody. Now it's interesting. Okay, we'll see what happens there. Let's go to South Dakota High School sports. Basketball Advisory Committee. Those coaches and ADs and administrators met today, and they had some big things on the agenda about some potential changes in South Dakota High School basketball. Not a lot of them are moving forward. One was a big one. Should we put the state tournaments in the same weekend in the same city? AA, A, and B. Where does Craig Maddox stand on this? It was brought up for discussion today. It's tabled, but they say, I think it's going to keep coming back. All classes in one location, Craig. You cover a lot of this. You go to the Bs, the As, the AAs. Would it work together?
I'm going to say I don't think so right now, mainly because we tried the combined tournament, and what did we hear during the combined tournament? Well, the kids didn't feel like they had their own game at the arena. It was at 10 in the morning, 12 noon.
And you're talking girls, boys combined, just to clarify. We did the girls, boys combined. And you're saying, we didn't have our own spotlight, essentially. And I heard that too. Yeah.
That is correct. And I would be surprised, and I know Coach Parrish real well. He's a great guy, and
I like him. Yep.
I understand what they're trying to do, but I really think the other classes are not going to go with it.
Do you think?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think they really like their own tournament. I've been to the B tournament in Huron a bunch of times. I've been to Watertown. I've been to Brookings. Those communities love hosting those teams, and those teams are being spotlighted by the community. And I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but as of right now, I think since the combined tournament didn't work, I have a feeling that all the classes together, the Bs and the As, probably aren't going to go with it. But
okay.
We'll see. Maybe they'll have maybe they'll try it once and just see what it's like.
I had a college/high school coach. He's coached in high school and college. Email me about this, and he said, "I've been in different states, Nebraska, Texas, and we do this. All classes, same city, same facility." He said it's really, really good. It's the show. The kids love it. It's the prime facility. They love going to the cities. They love experiencing the big venues. And then coaches that are college coaches can go to one tournament and take a look at the Bs, the As, the AAs. He said if you do it, you'll love it.
Well, the biggest problem we have is we play the 7th place game and we play the 5th place game. If it was a Final Four format, I could see it working much better than playing out through 7th place. And, you know, if you're in Rapid City, you're going to play over across the street at the Cobbler Gym for 7th place, or you're going to play over at Stevens, or even maybe St. Thomas More, doing the consolation games. I really don't think teams are going to like that.
Craig Maddock,
that's the biggest problem. If we had the Final Four format, I think that would certainly work.
Okay, reduce that a little bit. I don't know if we'll get there, but that's been thrown around as well. Final Four instead of 8, and playing out all the games. Craig Maddock on South Dakota Public Broadcasting from Sioux Falls. There's a story in Kello. Kello came out with a story. I don't know where this is going. This is the Sioux Falls Youth Hockey Association. Youth hockey coach suspended, was accused of verbal abuse of a teenage referee. They're having a board meeting tonight. Some of the parents very upset, saying this coach should be allowed to coach. I can't believe he's suspended the rest of the season, being accused of this verbal abuse on a teenage referee. Some of the parents are supporting him. What do you think of this?
I'm all for the referee. I see this way too often. I don't know all the details. I don't know what all was said to the youngster who was refereeing. But if there's, we all can tell if a coach is railing on an official and what the reason they're trying to do it. But I am for coaches toning it down and go back to the bench and leave the officials alone, because how many times have we seen a call changed because a coach was berating an official? How many times did they say, oh, okay, we'll change the call because of that?
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of this stuff keeps happening. And, you know, some people say, how are we going to stop it? Well, this hockey association says, well, he's suspended the rest of the season. I don't know what they're going to discuss here at the board meeting tonight. This is the South Dakota Amateur Hockey Association who suspended the Sioux Falls youth hockey coach for verbal abuse of a teenage official. That's the accusation. Board meeting tonight out in Sioux Falls. Craig Maddock on tonight. In Play, the podcast. Who do we have?
Just was released today. You know, it's the 50th anniversary of Title IX. Title IX, back in 1972, Congress passed it. And a lady who was instrumental in getting girls' programs here in South Dakota with the Activities Association. She was there 34 years. She started basketball and volleyball, cross country, cheer and dance. I talked with Ruth Rain, and you need to talk. You hear the podcast, you'll hear what challenges she had. And was there a time that she wanted to give up because things just were not going as she wanted when it came to what we had trying to start girls' sports in South Dakota?
Very interesting. That's going to be a good one. In Play, out right now, the podcast from Craig Maddock and SDPB Sports. Craig, always great to have you. Thanks a lot.
All right, Nate. See ya.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Craig Maddock, East River, West River. Always fun every week on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Sioux Falls youth hockey coach suspended. Some parents are rallying behind the coach, saying this is wrong. The South Dakota Amateur Hockey Association suspended the coach. The accusation was verbal abuse of a teenage official at a tournament. And now there's a Sioux Falls Youth Hockey Association board meeting tonight. And I don't know how it's going to work through the governing body of the Amateur Hockey Association. In the story, the Sioux Falls Youth Hockey Association says they've seen a 15% reduction in officials for hockey this year. So across the board, 15% less officials out there reffing hockey games in 1 year. So a lot of this stuff, we've discussed it. We discussed it a lot. And as I said, I don't know all the details there, what happened, what's going on. We just have to stay centered, have some self-awareness, really, really keep things under control and try and lead by example in how we do things as fans, parents, coaches. Just have to. Tough stuff. We'll see where that one goes, Sioux Falls Youth Hockey. Coming right back, let's go NFL. I want to get Mike Wall is on. Mike Wall, former Green Bay Packer, a great football NFL analyst, former O-lineman for Brett Favre of the Pack. Mike Wall talking Super Bowl and his take next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Take control of your finances in the new year by making a plan with Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Access BHFCU's free money management tool in online and mobile banking to bring all your accounts together in one dashboard. Set budgets, track spending, create notifications, and plan future goals. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit, federally insured by the NCUA.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Hi, this is Britt Wickett at Elevate Performance. If you have an athlete in your family that is looking for sports training with proven results, Elevate Performance is ready to work with you. Our approach is different. We train one-on-one or in a small group, keeping the focus on your athlete, getting them to perform at their best. If your child is in middle school or high school, we have plenty of training options to fit your schedule. Take your game to the next level with Elevate Performance. To get your training started, visit elevateperformancesd.com.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
We are back. South Dakota Sports Talk Show packed tonight. Just packed. We're going to go out to L.A. coming up. Talk to Kevin Figures, talking Rams, AM 570, Los Angeles. Radio Row busy. We'll get the Rams perspective from Kevin Figures, L.A. straight ahead. Later on, Matt Minich talking Bengals. Writes for SB Nation, Cincy Jungle. Matt Minich on tap. How about an NFL guy, Mike Wall? Former O-lineman for the Green Bay Packers. His company Process to Perform. Talking Super Bowl. Let's get him. Mike Wall, 6'8" on Twitter. Follow him there at Mike Wall 68. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Mike, always great. Super Bowl week. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having me on. Excited for this game coming up.
I am as well. I think it's really interesting. Right on the surface, the betting odds came out. It was Rams 4.5. It's kind of stayed there. Do you feel like the Rams are that much of a favorite?
Yeah, I mean, if you look on paper, you know, the Rams are the better team. I think they're the better team in every position except for quarterback, honestly. I just think Joey Burrow's built different, man. That's what we see in the NFL. The guy's just built different, and he's more than a cheat code. The things that he's doing with no protection, no offensive line help, the amount of times he's been knocked over, knocked down, and just keeps coming back, looking them in the eye, and delivering every time for this team. You see that team's just got momentum because of the way that guy's playing. So, you know, that's the most important position in sports for a reason, and that might be a difference maker in this game.
Okay, you're an O-lineman. You analyze O-lines, systems. I've followed this. So can the Cincinnati Bengals O-line get better all of a sudden, Mike? Can they just get better?
Yeah, even if they could, they're playing against the best defensive tackle that maybe ever played defensive tackle before. So, I don't like their odds. I've been saying it all week. It's not really Cincinnati's offensive line versus the Rams' defensive line. It's the Rams' defensive line versus Joe Burrow. How much punishment can Joe Burrow take? How many sacks can he evade? How many pressures can he get out of, either with his feet or with his arm? The thing about the Rams is because they can get home with 4, it kind of changes the dynamics of the game. If you can rush with 4 and get home, you can drop 7. It makes it a little more difficult to get those one-on-one opportunities like a guy like Jamar Chase. And so, this is a really tall order, but, they went into Tennessee. They beat Tennessee. They beat the Chiefs. I mean, you're going down the line here. This team's for real. You got to like their momentum. And again, I really cannot overstate how impressed I am with Joe Burrow and the job he's done of uplifting that entire program.
Mike Wall, former O-lineman for the Green Bay Packers. So you blocked against some good guys on the defensive interior, like you told me, the Vikings' John Randall. So Aaron Donald's at another level. How has he gotten there? What makes Aaron Donald, is he the best defensive interior lineman ever?
For my money, he is. I think that he's, in many ways, I just think he's unblockable. He's 6'1", 285 pounds, and you think, okay, well, that's not that big. Well, he benches 500. I can't imagine what he power cleans. He squats almost 1,000 pounds. He's got this ridiculous leverage. He's got some of the best hands tied up with his footwork that I've ever seen. So he's just got check marks at every single level. He's got you beating quickness, strength, power, leverage, and usually technique against most of the offensive line that he's playing against. He's relentless. The way he prepares his body, the way he prepares his mind, his football intelligence is off the charts. He just is a guy that, was lucky to be physically gifted and has taken all those physical traits and just magnifying them with his work ethic and his attention to detail. And so, again, as an offensive lineman, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for the guy. At the same time, I'm really glad that I'm not in the league right now trying to play against a guy like him.
I was wondering. I said, hey, Mike Wall against Aaron Donald. Not right now, okay?
Uh-oh.
Not right now. Let me ask you about the situation with the Bengals. Zach Taylor, I mean, you're kind of about culture and what do you create and leadership. Zach Taylor, 6-25-1 before the turnaround here. 6-25-1.
Yeah.
How did he do this? It feels like a culture thing.
Well, you always have to give credit for leadership at the top, right? And he's certainly come in there and he's made believers out of these guys. And he's been saying it this whole time. You might, even last year, you might not see the results, but we see the process and we see that, guys are doing things the right way. They're doing what we're asking them to do. But I think what this really comes down to, and not to discount any work that their organization has done outside of this player, but again, when you've got a guy like Joe Burrow, it just seems to me that when he's in the game, players believe. Players just believe that they can get this done. You talk to the free agents that showed up there this offseason. They showed up there because they wanted to play with Joe Burrow because they see the talent, they see the belief, they see the cockiness. He's just got it. He's whatever it is. He reminds me of Brett. He just has it. He's a guy that you want to be around. He's a guy that you want to be in the trenches with, you want to play for, and you just believe that he can get it done.
Yeah, interesting. One more on this. Sean McVay, head coach of the Rams, great offensive play caller, innovator, that whole thing. Can Sean McVay tend to outthink things? Is that a worry here?
Well, some people would say that, because he got, arguably outcoached him the last time he was at the Super Bowl. Listen, Sean McVay probably has an IQ in the 180s. Compared to the rest of us mere mortals, like he's speaking on a different, time scale. So, there's always that problem. But I think he even said it this week. He's gonna dial it back towards the end of the week here. He's not going to dig back into the playbook and see what he can revamp on Thursday and Friday. He's going to keep it. Look, you're in the Super Bowl. You've got Hall of Fame players on your side, all pros. You've got and they're everywhere. You just let your players play. Dial up your best plays, put the guys in positions to be successful, and just go let it happen because he's got the talent to win. He's put these guys in an incredible position. I mean, when you think about Sean McVay coming into the league at 32 years old as a head coach, like we all thought it was a joke. honestly, all the ex-players, we're looking at like, you've got to be joking. And he is just, I mean, you think about what he's done to the league as far as every single team that has a vacancy at the head coaching spot is trying to pluck from the Shanahan/McVay tree right now. I mean, Zach Taylor's one of them. And so, you got to be super impressed with the guy. And it's just always difficult when somebody's that smart. I mean, I've heard this. I don't know this myself. But when somebody's that smart, you do have a tendency to overthink. So, the advice would be just go out and let the players play.
Okay, Mike Wall, can you give me a pick here? It sounds like you're going Rams. Is it going to be tight?
I'm not going Rams. I'm not going Bengals or Rams. I'm taking Bengals with the points because I have lost damn near every single pick this offseason. But I think with the points, I feel good about the Bengals this week. I just think there's something to this Joe Burrow guy. Again, I've never seen anything like him.
4.5. That is an interesting number. I haven't made my play yet. Mike Wall tonight, former Green Bay Packer. Quick one. How about the Packers? Hiring some coaches, special teams, getting new coach in there. How do you feel about this offseason here as it just gets started? A big one for the Packers.
Well, certainly, and obviously the big question is surrounding Aaron Rodgers, what they're going to decide to do there. It sounds like they're going to get that kind of figured out sooner than later, which I think is great for kind of the general mental well-being of the team and the fans around the team. Bringing Versace in from Oakland is a big deal. Look, we went into these playoffs as fans and as an organization thinking like if we can just get a draw in special teams every week, we're going to win all these games. And unfortunately, in the first game, we couldn't even get a draw. Right? We got blown out in special teams. We ended up losing the game. So we're bringing credibility into that position. It looks like it feels like they're addressing something that they should have addressed before. It feels like this could be the start of a real culture change there because like we talked about before, how you do anything is how you do everything. If you've got the 32nd ranked special teams unit, there's other things that are falling through the cracks. So we have to address that, certainly. There's a lot of things that a guy like Aaron Rodgers can gloss over from an organizational standpoint, but bringing in a guy with some real credibility, some history, and guys that, quite frankly, the Las Vegas Raiders wanted him as the head coach. The players loved him.
Right.
So you're bringing in a guy that's going to help change, not only the culture on special teams, but hopefully in the entire building and just raise it to a new level.
I felt like a big name there. It feels like a big name after interim head coaching job that he did at Las Vegas. Mike Wall tonight, Process to Perform, the site, Process to Perform. Find him on Twitter at MikeWall68. Enjoy the week, Mike. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Mike Wall tonight on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, processtoperform.com. Former Green Bay Packer offensive lineman Brett Favre, Ahman Green. Oh, that was the crew, right? And tomorrow we'll have Ahman Green with his take on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll have the former Husker and former Green Bay Packer, Ahman Green, going to join the Nate Brown Show live tomorrow. What is this, Packer Week? No, it's good. It's good. I like these guys. You Minnesota Vikings fans, you even want to hear from these Green Bay Packers, right? Right? All right, let's get the Rams' perspective. I want to break down some specifics, okay? The Rams side, what do they say about Joe Burrow? Mike Wall was like, man, Joe Burrow's the guy, the dude, the winner. Is just the guy. How will the Rams match up against the Bengals all the way around? What would you be concerned about? Kevin Figures breaking down the Rams, covers the Rams for AM 570 in Los Angeles. He's live on the way.
The Nate Brown Show.
Renewal by Andersen. Our customers say it best. At Renewal by Andersen, our customers always tell us, I can't believe how comfortable and quiet these new windows have made our home. The difference is huge. Renewal by Andersen windows are the best you can get by any measure. We're a local and family-owned company. Our full-time installers are great people. We don't use subcontractors, and we stand behind our windows like no other. Contact us now and ask about our great financing options with approved credit. Renewal by Andersen. Our customers say it best.
Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy skies expected tonight with a chance for scattered snow showers. Lows around 30. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered showers tomorrow. Highs level off around 62. A mix of clouds and sun. Chance for mixed precipitation tomorrow night 33. Overcast. A dusting of snow tonight with another dusting Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 32.
All right, here we go. Sunday, February 13th. It's the Rams taking on the Bengals, and Tin Lizzy and BetMGM Sportsbook are putting on the first big game experience ever. So many great VIP packages to choose from with hotel rooms, all-you-can-eat menu, and VIP seating. Grab your crew and get ready to experience the big game in style. Drink, eat, and play at the best party. Tin Lizzy, BetMGM Sportsbook. Reserve your big game VIP package at tinlizzy.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Bill at Wirefree USA. If you want high-speed internet at your house, call Wirefree USA and get HughesNet. HughesNet is high-speed satellite internet, a super-fast instant internet connection that's available right now wherever you live. You'll get faster web access, faster browsing, and faster downloads. HughesNet is from Hughes, an industry leader with more than 1.5 million systems installed worldwide. Call Wirefree USA today at 605-343-3806 and learn how to order HughesNet from your local business partner. Stop waiting. Order HughesNet, America's #1 choice for high-speed satellite internet. Visit Wirefree USA in Rapid City or call 605-343-3806 now and get super fast internet access at your house no matter where you live. The future is Wirefree USA with HughesNet. Local business, local service with a smile.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports.
Oh, good stuff tonight on a Wednesday. The weather not as great, right? Getting some moisture, though. We do like that. It's been dry, getting some moisture, some rain showers, some snow showers. The Nate Brown Show is live. You've got us here, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Bring us up on Twitter. Watch the show. Welcome into the studio. How you doing? Welcome in live stream at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. At Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Follow us. Watch the show live. We'll talk Bengals coming up with Matt Minich. He covers the Bengals for SB Nation. We'll talk Bengals side, but first Rams side. Let's get him. Kevin Figures is in L.A. He's AM 570 Los Angeles, Fox Sports Radio. Kevin Figures back on the Nate Brown Show. Super Bowl Sunday getting close now. Kevin, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm phenomenal, Nate. How are you, man? Good to be back on.
I'm doing good. So, you told me last time as we went into the NFC Championship, if Matthew Stafford doesn't win a Super Bowl, I think that's what you said, win a Super Bowl, it's really going to be a failed situation here. Well, he's in there. He's in there. I want to ask you, Matthew Stafford, has he played at the level that all Rams fans should be appreciative of?
Yeah, 41 touchdowns this season, tying Kurt Warner's franchise record. Has played well in the postseason. That huge throw with Ndamukong Suh in his face against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Jared Goff is not making that throw, I'm sorry to say. He has lived up mostly to the expectation. He did turn the ball over. I believe he actually led the NFL in turnovers this year, something that Jared Goff was highly criticized for. The problem is, on the other side of it, while Goff may have threw for, 28 touchdowns, 29 touchdowns, it wasn't quite the 41. The impact plays that Matthew Stafford makes, the kind of arm that he has, is, I wouldn't say unparalleled in the NFL at this point, especially with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, but it's certainly in the upper echelon, and that's something that Jared Goff cannot measure up to. But yes, Nate, I'm still sticking to it. Unless they win a Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford, for all the great accomplishments stats-wise, he would not have accomplished anything that Jared Goff had not. They traded away Jared Goff and first-round picks to bring him in to win a Super Bowl, not just to get back to it. That's not what the expectation level is for this Rams franchise right now.
Okay, I want to know if this model where you trade away assets, you trade away draft picks, you're bringing in some big players here, Stafford, Von Miller, Odell Beckham. I mean, they go all in. This isn't a normal model in the NFL. It's usually build through the draft, develop the whole thing. Will people even care about this? No draft picks in the first round for another few years. If they win this whole thing, that's all okay with you?
Yeah, you know what? Because I believe they've done it smartly. This isn't a, Washington in the late 90s, early 2000s with Dan Snyder, where you just throw a bunch of money at a bunch of old, aging veterans and, throw things against the wall in hopes that it stick. They actually have a plan with the Rams and how they're doing this. This is part of their model. People don't realize, you talk about all the free agents and the trades they've made, which is true, but 14 of their 22 starters are guys they've drafted. That's a testament to their scouting department not having a first-round pick since Jared Goff in 2016 and being able to find diamonds in the rough, like your Tyler Higbees and your Taylor Rapps and your Cam Akers and a lot of guys who are contributing on this roster who are not big-time household names. So that's the model, and that's the more difficult part, Nate. It's not necessarily easy to build through the draft when you have hit on guys in the first and second round because we know how much of a crapshoot that can be. But realize how much more difficult it is to continue to find guys who are contributors down in and down out, year in and year out, in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth round. That's what the Rams have been able to do under this regime with Stan Kroenke as the owner and Les Snead as the general manager. Now, it's worked to a point. Is it something they can sustain for a decade? To be honest with you, just statistically speaking, probably not. But for this moment in time, moving back into Los Angeles, knowing that you have to be relevant here, because teams like the Dodgers are winning. The Lakers usually, not this year with the expectations they have, are winning. The soccer teams are winning. The Clippers are stepping up and trying to win. You have to be relevant. You have to win to be relevant. And Stan Kroenke understood that when he brought the team back. Winning is vital. So if they have a chance to win a Super Bowl, albeit and also at home, it just makes it that much sweeter. So they're going all in. They're going to go all in as soon as possible to try to bring a championship to Los Angeles and fight for their relevancy in the city, because there's a lot of other things that you can do, a lot of other sports franchises that you can cheer for. So they have to earn their spot. And so far, they've done it. They've done a good job of earning their spot in the city of Los Angeles in the sports landscape.
Kevin Figures on tonight. Good to have him. AM 570 LA, Fox Sports Radio. Find him on Twitter at KFig1. So the Rams don't have a first-round pick for another couple of years. They are in this year. How much time left for Matthew Stafford? How much time left?
Well, what is he, 34, I believe, or 35? I mean, look, the way things are going, we just had a guy who's almost 50 years old, Tom Brady, 44, 45, decided to retire. So the way these guys are playing, the way they take care of their bodies at this point in time, there's no reason that Matthew Stafford probably can't play at a high level for another couple of years, 3 years, possibly 4. Now, how the roster is constructed, is a big part of that. Are they going to have them drop back 45, 50 times a game? Probably not a recipe for success. But if they mix in the running game, and now you have Cam Akers back in the fold, Darrell Henderson is coming back in there, Sony Michel has been good for them. If they build the offensive line and around the running game, I believe Matthew Stafford can have 3 or 4 good quality years left as a starting quarterback for the Rams. I believe that.
What do you think on the other side, Kevin? You look at this, how the Rams match up. Well, their defensive line should terrorize the Bengals. That's what people say this week. Bengals O-line's been bad, but Burrow still hasn't been sacked that much. He's elusive. Burrow hasn't lit up the stat chart, but everybody's telling me, Joe Burrow, you don't want to play him. What do you say about Burrow?
Yeah, I say that especially in this postseason run, you can't be the slave to the stat sheet and say he hasn't put up huge numbers, because if you watch these games, the games against the Raiders and the Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs, Joe Burrow's been running for his life. It's amazing. Like, I'm not old enough to have seen Archie Manning play for the New Orleans Saints back in the day, but from what I hear, he was running for his life for the better part of a decade. So it seems like that's what Joe Burrow's been doing this season. He was sacked more than any other player in the NFL this year and find ways to make plays. I mean, there was at least 4 or 5 sacks, 4 or 5 opportunities for the Chiefs to sack him in the AFC title game, and they didn't do it because he was so elusive and able to break the pocket and keep plays alive and run for first downs. That's the big thing. Joe Burrow, he can throw for 300, 400 yards because we've seen him do it. But he doesn't necessarily need to do that. Being able to sustain drives, keep drives alive with his legs, with that asset is huge. So, yes, this Rams defensive front is going to be the best defensive front he has played in this postseason, including the Tennessee Titans that sacked him 9 times. You know, you're talking about a couple of Hall of Famers on that front 7. But I can't count Joe Burrow and this Bengal team out because he seems to have that magic elixir, whatever it is, to be able to keep plays alive, and his players make plays for him. So, yeah, Joe Burrow might not be putting up, some gaudy numbers, but he is making plays every single solitary week, and he's the biggest reason why. Not taking anything away from that Cincinnati defense, which has been huge too, but he's the biggest reason why they're in the position that they're in.
Okay, Kevin Figures, here it is. You're going to walk up to a Las Vegas sports betting window and place down a big bet on the Rams to win 4.5?
4.5 is a big number for me, to be honest with you, Nate. Knowing how the Bengals have played and how gritty they've been and how clutch McPherson, their kicker, has been, I do think the Rams win the game. But if you asked me to walk up to a sports book in Las Vegas, I'm probably taking the Cincinnati Bengals to cover that spread of 4.5 points.
Wow, interesting. That's 2 guys today going Bengals with the points, but saying the Rams will win. Kevin Figures tonight, AM 570 Los Angeles. One more. How is the scene out there? Los Angeles is massive. There's a million things going on. The Super Bowl's the thing. I mean, that's the thing in the world, in the country. What's the scene like Super Bowl week?
It's a big deal, and mostly because it's spanning so much of the city. You know, Inglewood is where the stadium is, and that's where the game is going to be played, but a lot of the festivities are taking place downtown, which is about 20 minutes away. And so it's taking the city by storm to a degree. You're right, there are a lot of things going on, and there are people, look, there's enough in Los Angeles going on. If you want to avoid something, you absolutely can. But if you're turning on a newscast, telecast, looking at the local websites, it is very much Super Bowled out. There are signs up. The closer you get to the stadium, the closer you get to downtown Los Angeles. I don't know if it necessarily inundates or takes over the city completely as it would in a smaller market because L.A. just in general is so big. But I would be underselling it, Nate, if I were to say it was not a big deal. You definitely notice that the NFL is here for sure.
It's going to be a great venue, I'll say that. SoFi Stadium, the Rams in their home field, but some people say it's not as big a home field advantage as you would think. We shall see. Kevin Figures tonight. Kevin, great, man. Always appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it. Anytime.
Thanks for the time. Kevin Figures, AM 570 Los Angeles. Good breakdown. Knows the Rams really well. Good breakdown. AM 570 Los Angeles covers the Rams. Kevin Figures live from L.A. So that's 2 people back-to-back saying it's going to be a tight Super Bowl. The betting line is 4.5 points. The Rams are 4.5-point favorites. I've got the handicapper of all handicappers, the guy who makes the pick, and he's going to go through all of it tomorrow, Lee Sterling, making another appearance. How about Lee? We had him all football season. Then, he takes a little time off. He's like, I'm back Super Bowl week. Lee Sterling tomorrow. Ahman Green, former Packer, former Husker, he's tomorrow. We'll get some more breakdown of the big game coming up. We'll go to the Bengals side later on in the second hour here. Matt Minich is on the way, covers the Bengals for SB Nation. We'll get his take. But first, I've got to get into, oh, man, who would have thought Super Bowl week we'd have to discuss today Kirk Cousins? Who would have thought that? Me, I'm raising my hand. There's 2 reports out today. A teammate talks about Kirk Cousins today, and the new head coach coming in, a report out from his interview about Kirk Cousins. What does it tell us for the Vikings and Cousins? We'll get into that and an update on our question of the day, dealing with a high school basketball team in Idaho who is going to sit out the rest of the season because they want their coach to be gone and resign. What say you? We'll break that down. Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
The best new cars make the best used cars. It stands to reason that the better a product is made, the longer it will last, which makes getting a high-quality, low-mileage Toyota at a great price a very savvy move. Prices start at $22,591. You can drive a barely used certified pre-owned vehicle today. 2.99 APR financing available on certified Toyota models. The right cars, the right prices, the right experience. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City. DennyMenholtToyota.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
All right, guys, if you need a haircut, the one place I go every time is the Man Salon. And there's a reason for it. They just do the best job. You get a great haircut with your personal stylist. I can watch a game or whatever I want in my own station. Then I get shampoo, hot towel, shoulder massage, all at a great price at the Man Salon. 2 convenient locations for you at Rushmore Crossing and on West Main. The Man Salon offers a military discount for active and retired military. For your next appointment, just book at themansalon.net.
Here's some free financial advice from Pro Auto Care. Regular service and preventative vehicle maintenance always pays off big time. With regular Pro Auto Care service and maintenance, you'll extend the lifespan of your vehicle, and that means more miles and more years of use from your vehicle investment. That's just good economy. It's simple financial advice. You take care of your vehicle, and your vehicle takes care of you for a longer time. From oil changes to brakes, tires, and major repairs, see Tom at Pro Auto Care. Open as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
Hey, Rapid City, it's Doug Gottlieb. Join me weekdays from 1 to 4 right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports, Rapid City. And now let's get you back to the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City's sports talk show.
Welcome back in, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Solid? It's always a great day in the Black Hills, even with a little moisture out there. A little moisture, a little colder. What, it's February? We thought we were going to be good to go. 60 on Monday. And no. Hang on here. You got to still break out the Carhartts and all that stuff. Jamie Parrish is coming up. He's the Sioux Falls, Washington girls basketball coach, and he's a member of the Basketball Advisory Committee, which had a meeting today. We discussed it a little bit yesterday, some potential changes to high school basketball and various things, state tournaments, maybe a classification discussion, like would we add a class of basketball? How did that meeting go today? Anything moving forward out of the Basketball Advisory Committee with South Dakota High School Hoops? The head coach in Washington on the committee there, Jamie Parrish. He'll be live coming up from Sioux Falls. Speaking of basketball, the Nate Brown Show here on Fox Sports Rapid City has a question of the day. This story is, it really caught my attention and really surprises me. It's a high school basketball story this week out of Idaho, Pocatello, Idaho. And here's my question of the day. This is for you just joining us in the Drive at 5 on Fox Sports Rapid City. Got a lot of votes already. And your take is welcome here, 720-1067. A high school basketball team in Pocatello, Idaho, sitting out the rest of the season because of their complaints about the head coach and his in-game coaching decisions, practice plans, and just basic strategies in games. Yes, you heard that. The basketball team took a vote the players, and they said, well, we're not going to play the rest of the season unless the coach resigns. This coach has been there since 2016. This year, the record, they're 7-12. Not great, right? 7-12. His overall coaching record at the Pocatello High School, Highland High School, is 48-47, right down the middle of the road. I ask you, who is at fault in this situation? We're going to have potentially a high school basketball team here, seniors and whoever, not finishing out a season, and they want a coaching change. The players do. Where did this go wrong? I just hate it. And it's not about, well, it's verbal abuse or the coach did this and malicious or whatever. It's about, honestly, practices, coaching decisions late in games. I mean, the players are quoted in the Idaho State Journal today. They're like, yeah, just some of the last minute, decisions he makes in games just aren't working out. And we're going to sit out? I can't believe this one. So I ask you, 720-1067, your take. Who is at fault here? The players, the parents, or really our culture today of, we can boycott anything, right? We kind of, if we boycott it, we send a message. I ask you that. High school basketball team sitting out the rest of the season. They only have 2 games left. They have 2 games left before their district tournament starts up. And they're gonna bail. They had a game tonight that just got canceled there in Pocatello. They were supposed to play tonight. It just got canceled. Who is at fault here? The parents, the players, or our boycott culture? Here are the vote totals. 51% say it's the parents here. 51% the parents of the players. 38% are boycott culture, and only 11% say it's the players. Only 11% say it's the players. Let's see here. Some votes coming in. Listener text. I think the kids have their heads in the clouds, thinking they're stars or the next LeBron. Parents are probably encouraging it. Yuck. Yeah, it is yuck. It is yuck. One more here. Let's see if I can pull it up. I agree with you. Crybabies leading the roost. Crybabies leading the roost. 720-1067. I've never heard of that. I've heard of a lot of situations around the country that, well, this coach made this big mistake. It's sometimes it's egregious. I mean, it's behind the scenes and can be abuse, can be all of the stuff that we hear, some of these bad stories with coaches. This one here is, he's been there 5 years. It's 48-47. They played to a 7-12 record. Not a great season. Last 2 games left, and now we have the players wanting a change. Otherwise, they're not going to play. I believe as a team, as a player, you've got to finish it out. I don't care if we don't call a pick and roll in the final minute. Okay? Play. Finish it out. Don't regret doing something like this and missing just your last experience, I guess, as a high school kid, even though maybe you're not having a wonderful time. Let's go to this really quick. I got to, it's Super Bowl week. I know we're talking a lot of Super Bowl, but I got to give the Vikings fans an update. Okay? I have to give the Vikings fans an update. This is it. This is the update. 2 things on Kirk Cousins coming out in the last 2 days. One is today from Justin Jefferson. Vikings fans love Justin Jefferson. Great wide receiver. And I mean great, right? He was asked about Kirk Cousins. Well, what do you think he's going to say? Okay, so that's one tip of the iceberg here. But Justin Jefferson, it wasn't like, well, we'll see or this and that. Here's the quote today. Justin Jefferson, Vikings wide receiver. I love Kirk as a person. I love Kirk as a quarterback. We're not talking like, we're talking love, he said. I love Kirk as a quarterback. He's been doing a tremendous job with me ever since I got into the league. I definitely wouldn't mind staying. I love Kirk. So when they asked, do you want Kirk Cousins to stay? I definitely wouldn't mind staying. I love Kirk. That's Justin Jefferson. Now a report from Jeremy Fowler Yesterday, soon-to-be Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell conveyed a firm belief in Kirk Cousins during his interview. A firm belief in Kirk Cousins during the interview. He's high on him. O'Connell was the quarterback coach in Washington when Cousins was there in Washington. So to me, Vikings fans, I just throw this out here with the $45 million cap hit. I believe you've got Kirk, and I believe that's the end of the story. I mean, these are just two things here yesterday and today. High-profile Justin Jefferson, not whining, not complaining, not going stealth on social media, not, okay, out there. I love Kirk. I love what he's done for me. Kevin O'Connell, the new head coach, interview process reported. Jeremy Fowler says, firm belief in Kirk Cousins, high on him. Kirk Cousins, to me, will be the Vikings quarterback. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, we shall see. We shall see. Let's see here really quick on the Pocatello, Idaho players. The high school players sitting out the rest of the season. They want a coaching change. Listener text, it sounds like he was 41-35 before the season started, so maybe the players weren't playing up to standard. I would love to hear a coach once say during the middle of the season, I'm done. Your kids can't be coached. And, interesting. Listener text on Kirk Cousins, 720-1067. I'm okay with it due to the team backing him. I think you're talking about Kirk. And finally, how about the Vikings get some dudes in the trenches? That's where it starts, and we suck. Okay, so you're all right with Kirk? Is that what I'm hearing today? I think you just kind of have to be resigned to the fact. I think they're going to roll with Kirk. It's a big cap hit. It's a big money deal. I think they're going to roll with Kirk. Justin Jefferson's not complaining. It's not like an Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield thing where we got big problems. And so Justin Jefferson's in. Apparently, Kevin O'Connell, the new head coach, his old quarterback's coach. It all comes together for me. Kirk Cousins, another season with the Vikings, featured here on the Nate Brown Show almost daily. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Coming back with Jamie Parrish. He's the member of the Basketball Advisory Committee. Are there going to be any changes in high school basketball, state tournaments, and the long list of what they talked about today at the meeting? He's the head coach at Sioux Falls, Washington. Jamie Parrish, live next.
You're listening to the Nate Brown Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and like us on Facebook by searching Fox Sports Rapid City.
Renewal by Andersen, our customers say it best. At Renewal by Andersen, our customers always tell us, I can't believe how comfortable and quiet these new windows have made our home. The difference is huge. Renewal by Andersen windows are the best you can get by any measure. We're a local and family-owned company. Our full-time installers are great people. We don't use subcontractors, and we stand behind our windows like no other. Contact us now and ask about our great financing options with approved credit. Renewal by Andersen. Our customers say it best.
Your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Cloudy skies expected tonight with a chance for scattered snow showers. Lows around 30. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance for scattered showers. Tomorrow, highs level off around 62. A mix of clouds and sun. Chance for mixed precipitation. Tomorrow night, 33. Overcast. A dusting of snow tonight with another dusting Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 31.
I'm Tyler Haugen, and this is my wife, Dee, and we own D-Type Vet Supply.
Pioneer Bank has been very good to us.
All our banking was with Pioneer Bank right now.
What you find oftentimes in big corporate banks is they don't allow people to run their business the way that it should be ran. And without a doubt, it's been just an easy relationship with Pioneer Bank. Very easy.
Yeah, we support them because, they support us. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Well, a lot to discuss tonight. A lot to discuss on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. This just in. I coach a 3rd, 4th grade girls basketball team, okay? This just in. They have given me a vote of confidence. They have taken a team vote, and they have given me a vote of confidence. It's amazing. We shall see. They may boycott the rest of the season. I don't know, but so far, so good. Got to keep an eye on things, right? All right. Come on, let's have some fun. Matt Minich is on, Bengals writer, straight ahead. SB Nation, Bengals writer on tap. We'll talk Super Bowl on the Bengals side coming up. Matt Minich. First, Sioux Falls, Washington girls basketball coach. He's done a great job. He's coached around South Dakota at all levels. Jamie Parrish. They're the state champions. AA. Won the state AA title over Rapid City Stevens last year. That was a great game, great run. And Jamie Parrish, also a member of the South Dakota Basketball Advisory Committee, made up of coaches, athletic directors, administrators throughout the state. They had a meeting today, and he's generous enough to give us a little more time tonight. Coach, good to talk to you. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for reaching out. Appreciate you thinking of us.
Oh, no doubt. I know you had some busy things here. You had a game last night and a win over Brandon Valley. I'll ask you first about this club. Had a great team last year, and you have some players back and look really good again. Are you meeting your potential?
You know what? We still have some room to grow, and that's not a negative connotation at all. But when you return that many kids, everybody says, "Oh, you'll just do the same stuff." Well, we had a 6'4" kid that blocked however many shots last year, and we started out doing the same stuff, and we've had to tweak and change as the year's gone on. And I think we're just kind of hitting our stride defensively right now. So we're changing. We're still trying to figure it out, and trying to get it all figured out before the postseason.
Let me ask you about the two teams out here, just what you think. Rapid City Central, Rapid City Stevens, to me in girls basketball, look like contenders. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. They're in the mix. Both teams are really well coached. Alan is a guy, I've known him for, way back from my time in Vermilion, so 15, maybe even getting close to 20 years. Alan has done a nice job with that group of kids. Josie is a difficult matchup for anybody because she's long and athletic and can kind of stretch the floor. I can't remember all the other kids' names because we haven't gone scouting report, but they got a couple of shooters. Defensively, they get after you and cause some problems, so they are definitely in the mix. And Adam is a guy that I coached against also when I was in Vermilion, so I've known him probably 15 to 20 years as well. And bringing back a lot of talent, probably the most athletic team in the state, top to bottom. The number of kids they can get out there that can just run and play fast and get after you. And anytime you play defense that way, you've got an opportunity to win. And along with that, there's some basketball talent as well. Jada's an outstanding player and a really difficult matchup, and that makes everybody else's job easier.
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a good AA girls basketball state tournament, which we're going to have in Rapid City this year. We'll see if Central Stevens can make it. It looks like they can, and it looks like you got a good club again. Sioux Falls, Washington, head coach on the girls' side, Jamie Parrish on. Let's go to this basketball advisory committee. Big agenda, a lot of things to discuss. Not a ton of things moved forward today. One is a proposal that you wanted to talk about, all state tournaments in every class, AA, A, and B, the same site, the same weekend. That gets tabled. Why did you want to discuss it, and what have you heard about it?
Well, the history on it is I used to coach at Mount Marty College as a young guy, when I was single and had more time and I didn't need money. But it was awesome. The very first time I got sent on a recruiting, I got sent to the Nebraska State Tournament. And everybody's in Lincoln. And as a kid growing up in South Dakota, I had never experienced that. And to have my eyes opened to, I could drive to just random gyms all over town. I could watch the kids who were going to, the big-time Division I schools. I could go look at kids that were playing in the GPAC. And having all of those kids and all of that talent in one city was just, it's been 20-some years, and I'm still excited about it. It is as a basketball fan, it's just awesome. It was a great experience for me. What I was looking at is I see our volleyball is growing in the state. And, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I think one of the things that I really have appreciated the last few years is when they have all those volleyball teams in the same venue, you get all of your volleyball moms and your volleyball dads. And you get elementary and middle school girls running around with T-shirts and face paint, all excited about volleyball. And in my mind, I just thought, with girls athletics, that's something, how can we steal that idea? How can we catch that fire and benefit that so that we can grow our game as well and get more kids out, get more kids excited, get all of those people in the same community and, have that unique experience.
Not a consensus today at your meeting. So do you think this will continue to be discussed?
I think there's always going to be discussion. The determining factor is how people want to discuss this. In my mind, I went in and I said, I have no ideas about the nuts and bolts. I don't know what cities. I don't know what times. I don't know what that looks like. I just think it's a good idea. And if you guys think it's a good idea, let's figure out a way to make it happen. The other discussion will be, we can't make this work because, instead of, it's, I don't want to say positive or negative because it's not a negative, but there are opposing viewpoints. There's myself, I feel like, if I can get people excited about this, let's find a way to make it happen because it could be awesome. And then there's the other folks who say, well, it's not going to work because of A, B, and C. And right now, some of that's probably true. So it's just, a way to open up the discussion. And again, for me, it has nothing to do with what city it's in. It has nothing to do with, who's going to play the early game or the late game. It is I want to promote the girls basketball. I would like to have more kids playing. I'd like to have a big venue. And like I said, steal some of that thunder that volleyball, I feel, has right now.
Very interesting. Jamie Parrish on the Basketball Advisory Committee. That item got tabled. All girls basketball state tournaments, AA, A, and B, one location the same weekend. We'll see where it goes. Would you ever think about, because I've heard that some of the opposing, well, we play all the games out. That's the difference between South Dakota and Nebraska. They don't play all the fifth place, the seventh, eighth place. They don't play them all out. Would we have to think about a Final Four state tournament to get something like that done? Would we want Final Four instead of 8?
That's the discussions where people are going and trying to find ways to generate it. And I'm not trying to be vague with my answer, but to be honest with you, that part isn't. That's not in my wheelhouse right now. For me, I'm just trying to capture the idea of this is something that we want to do. And if you think it's a good idea, then you know what? Maybe it is Final Four. Maybe there's a way that you play all of those games. Maybe I'm up to any suggestion.
Yeah.
Again, something that would promote the girls' basketball. I'm not tied to any. I'm just looking for the end result, and whoever can find the best way to get there, and if it gets people excited, that's what I would love. I actually put in the proposal. As a coach, I never got to watch Jill Young play live.
Yeah.
And my team was in the state tournament in Spearfish, and they were playing in Huron. I never watched Louis Krogman play. I was, even though I was not coaching the boys, I was following our boys in our class.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it to Aberdeen. I just feel like there's a lot of validity on, that Friday or Saturday. How awesome would it be last year if I could have driven across town and watched watched the young lady from White River who had such a great tournament. You know, I could have went over and seen Aberdeen Roncalli win that state tournament.
Sure.
And when we're spread all over the place, that's not an option.
As a sports fan, I said that. I as a sports fan, it's like, oh, it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. The logistics, will it be brought up again? We shall see. Jamie Parrish is on, Sioux Falls, Washington girls basketball coach. Interesting perspective from you coaches. If people don't know this, you have a history of, you said you were at Mount Marty, and you've coached at the lower levels too in high school. So you have that smaller town, smaller program feel, and of course the big AA side as well. I'm going to ask you about this. It wasn't a proposal today. I just want to know what the discussion was about. Reclassification or classification in basketball. Right now we have AA, A, and B. What was that discussion about today?
You know what? That one we didn't get real in depth with it. It's basically they're talking about attendance numbers and when does that gap become too big for some people to feel like they compete. It would be very similar to the conversations they had with football a couple years ago, when they're figuring out how many kids are at your school and, you know, at what point to draw that line. Again, we discussed it, but at this time, you know, they said we need to have numbers, we need to have some other things figured out. So that really didn't go very far.
Okay, I just wonder, was it talking about the gap at the higher level, or are we talking about Class B?
The one that was brought up was the teams that end up switching between A and B every couple of years.
Okay.
Said that's a frustration to how do you maintain a schedule at that point, you know, when you're figuring PowerPoints and trying to put yourself in a position to be successful. And that was, in my mind, and again, you know, we talked about so many things. I'm not trying to discount or that I missed anything else, but that's the one that stood out in my mind, was those teams that keep bouncing back and forth were uncomfortable and would like to, you know, just have a discussion. You know, nobody was ready to say this is what we should do about it, but let's talk about it and see if we have any great ideas.
One more on this, AA play-in games. Right now we have 19 AA programs in basketball, and a few of those get left out of the SODAC 16 just off of their regular season schedule record. They're out, no postseason. We're thinking about maybe taking the bottom 8 from the proposal I saw, the bottom 8, and saying, have a play in there with the bottom 8 into the SODAC 16. That didn't go through. What was your read on that?
Well, there's a couple of concepts there. The first thing, which I did not realize, is that at the lower levels, everybody has a tournament game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have a district/region, and again, I haven't been in those classes since they've moved to the SODAC 16, so I'm not familiar with it. But I did not realize that everybody in the state outside of 3 girls teams and 3 boys teams does get a play-in game. Now, there's a couple thoughts. The first thought is it sounds like there might be a little bit of a movement in the lower classes to maybe narrow that down to the top 8. And they might be making a change, so we didn't want to, you know, jump on this and then everybody flip back the other direction. The other part that becomes difficult with that is, you know, you're adding another game that could be a long distance traveled.
Yeah.
And it probably ends up being on a school night. And then a really good point that was brought up was, you know, the team that earned the number 13 seed is almost kind of being punished. They earned their seed. They're getting ready to play, you know, the number 3 or 4 best team in the state. And we're going to take away 2 to 3 days of their preparation for this play-in game.
Yeah, I got you on that. That's what I was wondering about it. It did not go through. I kind of wanted to, I know right now it's just the one game hitter in AA. You win, you're in the state tournament. This was trying to maybe have a play-in for some of the lower seeds. It didn't go through. But one last thing. Do you like the SODAC 16 model, Coach, in AA? The one-game play? I hope you don't, you know, have any problems with hey, what if a team loses a player? They're not feeling well, and then we got one game. That's it. That's some of my concern on it. But have you liked it?
I really have. And again, you know what? I've been lucky. We haven't had a player hurt. We haven't had anybody get sick on that one game play-in. But I I still feel like this was a really good way to go. And I can speak from, it did not involve me directly, but I watched our boys basketball team when they had a really good run in 15 and 16, where they had beat Sioux Falls Lincoln twice in the regular season, and then had beat them in the district, and then lost to them in the state championship game. And credit to the Lincoln kids, no knock on them by any means whatsoever, but why should you have to beat the same team 4 times in the course of a year? You know, we needed to, in my mind, once we beat you in the playoffs, then let's move on to the playoffs. You shouldn't have to beat somebody twice in the playoffs.
Jamie Parrish tonight, busy day for him. Had a hoops last night. They beat Brandon Valley, and basketball advisory committee went through a lot of stuff today. One thing that is implemented, we talked about some things that didn't go through, the mercy rule in AA. So now A and B have a mercy rule, the running clock, essentially. Is that okay with you, AA running clock, when it gets to, I think it was 30, something like that?
Yeah, it doesn't happen as much in AA as it does at some of the lower levels. The thing that it really did was it cleared it up for administration and for officials. You know, we were in situations this year and last year, if, let's say that we were hosting a Class A school in our building, since it's our home game, there would be no running clock. Now, if we would play the same school in their gym, then we could mutually agree to a running clock, or I don't know how that whole process works, but yeah, it cleaned up that little thing, and it removes that from people having to make a decision and people not liking a decision if we're all doing it the same way.
Yeah, AA, A, and B now with the mercy rule. That's the running clock in the second half when teams get a huge lead. Jamie Parrish on tonight has a great club against Sioux Falls, Washington. I think we'll see him out here at the state AA tournament. Still some time and some work to put in. Coach, good to have you. Thanks for coming on and discussing everything. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks again for reaching out. I really appreciate that. Calling all the way across the state. Thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate your time. Busy day. He does a nice job. Thanks for coming on. Jamie Parrish, Sioux Falls, Washington, girls basketball coach. And they're a team to beat again. They're a team to beat. AA defending state champs. They are a team to beat. Here on the Nate Brown Show tonight, Jamie Parrish. Remember the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you don't catch all of the show or all of the guests live, you can go back and listen on the Nate Brown Show podcast. We'll get that uploaded tonight. Let's keep moving. Super Bowl week. We've got Bengals to discuss. I want to see what the story is with Matt Minich. What does he think of his Bengals' chances? SB Nation Bengals Writer, live next.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports RapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Honda True. Discover 3 tiers of vehicle coverage that work for you. Only at Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda. The inspection is just the beginning. Honda certified pre-owned means peace of mind with incredible benefits like 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange option. Check out all the benefits and search inventory at honda-true.com or come by Denny Menholt Rushmore Honda in Rapid City.
Banking at any time, any place, for anyone. That's what Highmark Credit Union is all about. Born in Rapid City 80 years ago, they're proud to bring a full range of consumer products and commercial lending services to thousands of area members. If you're looking for a place to bank where you're just not an account number, Highmark is the answer. Learn more at highmarkfcu.com or stop by any of their branches for more about better banking. Highmark Credit Union. We'll make it happen.
The Horseshoe Restaurant at First Gold Gaming Resort is a great place to enjoy a delicious sit-down breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Check out their daily specials every Monday through Thursday. Plus, the Horseshoe is having a Valentine's dinner special on Monday, February 14th. That includes your choice of chicken Alfredo or a 6-ounce boneless pork chop, complete with dessert. And don't miss the legendary all-you-can-eat prime rib and crab buffet every Friday and Saturday night at First Gold Gaming Resort, where your first stop on Main Street as you're coming into Deadwood.
From gooey grilled cheese sandwiches on Dakota-style 12-grain to peanut butter and jelly on Kids' Choice soft white bread. Kids of all ages want simple, comforting food that remind them of mom's home cooking. Country Hearth was born from that nostalgia and commitment to simplicity. Baked locally using natural ingredients like whole grains and honey, our breads are delivered fresh daily to grocery stores throughout the Midwest. Country Hearth Breads, baking our best for you.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in. A busy show tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. Follow us on Twitter. Watch the show live. Welcome into the studio at Nate Brown Show on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Give us a follow if you're on Twitter. We'd appreciate it. And also YouTube. You can bring us up right now on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show, the live show and the archives right there. Matt Minnick covers the Bengals for SB Nation site Cincy Jungle. And we got to bring out these Bengals guys. We got to bring them out. Super Bowl time. You know, Matt Minnick has some South Dakota State ties. Find him on Twitter at Coach Minnick. At Coach Minnick, his former college football coach. And now let's talk a little Bengals. Matt, I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. So you got to start at South Dakota State. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was a graduate assistant at South Dakota State under Coach Stiegelmeier. Was there for the entirety of the Division I transition.
Okay.
Won that Great West Conference championship ring, beating the Bison. And yeah, definitely a great guy to work for, great people to work for there, and awesome way to learn the game when I was young.
Well, people say that from Coach Stig's coaching tree. I know a few coaches that have talked about Coach Stig, and of course he's still there at South Dakota State. I want to get your read on the Bengals. So break this thing down for me. SB Nation site Cincy Jungle. You write for them. You cover the Bengals. This one kind of came out of nowhere, and the Bengals got hot. How do you see this team? It's not an accident, right?
No, I mean, look, they've made a ton of changes over the last couple of years, and obviously Joe Burrow is the biggest one. Zach Taylor coming in as the coach the year before was another big one, and he was a guy that kind of came out of nowhere. He was the receivers coach for a year at the Rams and the quarterbacks coach, and then became a head coach. Skipped the offensive coordinator step in there, and so he came in without really a ton of experience. But he's a guy that really hit the ground running, and totally remade that culture. Got rid of some big time players as far as the Bengals are concerned. Some guys that were really good for them a few years ago in the process, but that group is really meshed together, and you see in their interviews, like, they all speak the same language. They're all on the same page, and this is a team that last year they were starting to get better, and they only won a couple games early on in the season, but you could see how it was starting to come together, and then bang, Burrow gets hurt. And the rest is history, and the season went down the tubes. But fortunately, that got them Jamar Chase, Burrow's boy from college. So that was a benefit of that anyway. And that's really how they got here. I think it was one of those things where it's not the huge jump it seems like, because I think if Burrow was healthy for all of last year, you're looking at a team that was going to be pushing 500 by the end of that year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they get over the top against Kansas City. The Bills had Kansas City. They let them off the hook. The Bengals hang on. They come back down big, and they get over the top. That got my attention big time. And I'm looking at it and say, okay, Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow? You're going to go Joe Burrow. I understand, but what's the difference for you?
I kind of see Stafford as a little bit of the old school, a little bit more of a pocket passer, huge arm, but definitely a bigger arm than Burrow. But I think he's the kind of guy that's got to have things going right around him a little bit. And I think sometimes he kind of can push a little bit too much in tough situations. And you've seen really both of them threw a ton of picks this year. Burrow started off the year throwing crazy picks, was much better in the last half of the season. And then in the playoffs, he's thrown a couple of bad ones, including one against Kansas City that could have put him in a bad situation. And I really feel like Stafford, watching him, you do, every once in a while you just see him throw some balls and you're like, what are you thinking? What are you even looking at there? And I think that could be a big difference in this game. When you look at both these quarterbacks, who's going to take care of the ball the best? I think who wins the turnover battle could be play a really big role to determining who's going to win this game.
Matt Minnick covers the Bengals Cincy Jungle SB Nation site. Find him on Twitter at Coach Minnick. So everybody says this, Matt, okay? The offensive line for the Bengals, just not good. 9 sacks against the Titans. Burrow didn't get sacked a lot against the Chiefs, but he's on the run all the time. Facing the Rams, a really good defensive line. How do you get that done?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough one for them. They actually had, despite what people say, they made some attempts to fix the offensive line. They took a guard in the second round who just hasn't emerged quite yet. Still has a chance, but he hasn't stepped up to be that guy yet to start at that right guard spot. And their right tackle at the beginning of the season was South Dakota native Riley Reif.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he went down to injury. So now they've got a ton of youth and inexperience on that side of the ball. They've also got a center who was a pretty solid player in the past, but who is coming off an injury of his own, just like Burrow. And so that group has definitely had their struggles this year. We saw in the Titans game, Burrow got sacked 9 times and won the game. That's not something you see very often. I think one other quarterback had done that in the playoffs before. So they have managed to overcome some of those things in the past. Burrow is definitely a slippery guy. He can sneak out of the pocket and create with his legs, but I'll tell you, this is definitely the matchup I didn't want to see. With San Francisco, there's going to be some great pass rush, but a lot of the problems that the Bengals have had with their pass rush has been from the interior. That right guard position, and Aaron Donald, rushing the interior is definitely something that they're gonna have to scheme. They're gonna have to figure out.
Okay, I've had 2 guests on today. They've taken the Bengals with the points. They've told me Rams win. Former Green Bay Packer player said Rams win, Bengals with the points. It's 4.5, the Vegas line. I haven't made my call yet. You got Cincy Jungle SB Nation here. So do the Bengals actually win? Can they win?
Well, I'll tell you what. You mentioned the Chiefs game and then turn your heads, how the Bills let them off the hook. That's the thing about this Bengals team. Early in the season, they lost a couple close ones, but they've been winning these tight games, and for being a really inexperienced coach, Zach Taylor really has a strong understanding of situational football, and they managed to pull these things out in the clutch. So, I mean, to me, if they're covering, they're winning.
Okay, all right. You keep it tight, and then you win these games. Okay,
so
all right.
I'm taking the Bengals. It's been a miracle season. It's been a crazy year, and they've checked off so many boxes and done so many other things that people didn't think they could do. Say, hey, why not? Let's do it.
They've been in all these one-score games. You said it. A ton of one-score games, and they've won them. Matt Minnick, Cincy Jungle. It's the SB Nation site. These guys are rolling with the Bengals. Coach Minnick on Twitter. Matt, good to talk about the game, man. Enjoy the weekend. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Matt Minnick, Cincy Jungle, SB Nation writer, covering the Bengals on Twitter at Coach Minnick here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. He goes Bengals. The old who day? Who's going to beat them? Yeah, nobody. I'll make my pick tomorrow. Rams are 4.5-point favorites. I will make the pick tomorrow. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the Wednesday show tonight. A high school sporting event in Rapid City tomorrow that you may not hear enough about. It's in my Who's Hot category. Next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at FoxSportsRapidCity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we appreciate innovations in food delivery, like how the ancient Italians used to slingshot hot meals to hungry Romans on the go. And while we appreciate the creativity, it turned out to be, well, a little messy. So, we found a better way to bring you our legendary pizza, the country's best chicken, and our one-of-a-kind cactus bread. Just place your order online, on the phone, or on our app, and then pick it up or have it delivered right to your door. All nicely packaged in clean, sturdy, non-flying boxes. No catching necessary. Pizza Ranch. Mmm.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, let's get rolling on a Wednesday night. Who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. As always, every night at this time on the Nate Brown Show, I remind you, the Pizza Ranch Wednesday, it's today, tonight. It's kids' night. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. Tonight, Wednesdays at the Pizza Ranch Buffet. Hit it, enjoy it. The buffet's open till 8 tonight. It's dinner time right now at the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations in Rapid City. You'll love it. Who's hot category goes to this event tomorrow. High school sports, it's a great event. It's showtime, man. They make it a big deal, and I wasn't a wrestler back in the day, but I appreciate the grit, the determination, the intensity. Stevens Central Wrestling Duel tomorrow night at Central. If you haven't experienced it, experience it. Some great wrestlers. There's going to be some great matchups tomorrow. That's, again, at Central tomorrow. Wrestling Duel, Stevens Central. Great Rapid City high school sports event in my Who's Hot category. In my Who's Not, well, this is interesting and maybe not surprising. You know, Russia's in the Winter Olympics right now, but not as, you know, they can't have their country name and their flag. They're the Russian Olympic Committee. You know, every time you watch the athletes compete here over the last few days, the Russian Olympic Committee, whatever, okay. They just had another problem. This is because they've been accused of doping and violations over the years, so they can't even have Russia and their flag in there. Now they've got an accusation out. It looks like their top figure skater, she's 15 years old, just tested positive for a banned substance this year. 15 years old, top figure skater for the Russian Olympic Committee. Now what are they going to do? Like, they actually going to keep them out of the Olympics? Or so there's that report just today. Top figure skater, like she was probably going to win gold, is from what it sounded like to me. Banned substance positive test. Oops. We'll see you back tomorrow. Big show. The Nate Brown Show back in tomorrow live at 4. I'll tell you this. Amon Green, Lee Sterling, my pick for the Super Bowl tomorrow. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up tonight. Good show tonight. Thanks for being a part of it. See ya.